So that tune that I played up top there was a cover of the Ventures cover of the Twilight Zone. And it's really more like a mashup between the Twilight Zone and a tune called Fear from an old ABC show called One Step Beyond, which was like a show about the supernatural. And to be honest, it's pretty loosely based on that melody. They took a lot of liberties, and I think they made it a lot better, in my opinion. And I really like it being supported with this kind of tango rhythm underneath it. So in this lesson, I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to talk about the chord progression and teach you the melody, and I think you'll have fun with this one. Before I get into it, though, if you haven't already, grab that free resource guide on the Cage system. That link is down below. And if you want to get the materials for this lesson, like tab notation and backing track, you could do that by becoming a member of Jason Loughlin Guitar Lessons. That link is also below. All right, let's get into it. So before I start teaching you the intro and everything, let's just go over the changes of the main tune here. So we're going to be doing this really in the key of C sharp minor, but we start on the 5 chord here, G sharp 7. And we play this for 2 bars, and then to C sharp minor for 2 bars. Back to G sharp 7 for 2 bars, C sharp minor for 2 bars. Then we have this B section here where we go to F sharp minor, and we're going to do this for 1 bar and 3 beats of the next bar. 1, 2, 3. A quick B there to get us to E for 2 bars. Back to the F sharp minor for 1 bar, B for a whole bar, to E. And then we have a big stop. And then we're going back to this A section where we start on the G sharp 7, 2 bars of that. 2 bars of C sharp minor, 2 bars of G sharp 7, 2 bars of C sharp minor. And that's pretty much the form. You do this 2 times through, and when you get to the end of the form here, you get to that C sharp minor and you play it for a bar, and you jump to an F sharp minor for a bar, back to C sharp minor for a bar, F sharp minor for a bar, and then end on C sharp minor. And that's all part of the tag and the little tag melody that I'll show you here in a second. All right, let's talk about this intro. There's 2 guitars on here. There's no rhythm guitar happening really in the track. Really, the core band is bass, drums, bass 6, and farfisa. So there's no rhythm guitar part to really show you here, but there is one other guitar, and it's happening in this Twilight Zone melody, and it's doing almost 8 bars of just playing this A sharp here, just quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. You do that for 8 bars and you have a big stop on the 8th bar. The melody that's happening along with that, and I think of this as more of the main guitar part, is doing this. We're starting on the G sharp, we're going up to A natural, back down to G sharp, and down to F natural. And these are 8th notes, so we're going to do this twice for each measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's a full measure. We'll do that for 8 bars, and we stop on that 8th bar, and then the tune starts. So let's start talking about this tune here. Most of the time, we're just really outlining the changes and playing chord tones. We start on the root, dipping in and out of that G sharp over that G sharp 7 chord, down to the 7, down to the 5th, and then we're going to play that 5 again and dip in and out of it. After we do that, the chord changes to C sharp minor. So now this D sharp that was the 5th of the G sharp 7 chord now sounds as the 9th, so you kind of get this sound as that note sitting there in the melody. And then we come down to the root of the C sharp minor and down to the 5. We repeat that again. Little bit of a different ending here, down to the root of the C sharp minor and up to the flat 3. That takes us into the B section. First time through the B section over this F sharp minor chord, we're going to start this melody on beat 2, and it starts on the flat 3. And we just start walking quarter notes through the scale here with a couple little chromatic connections. But we have flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 7, and then we get up to the F sharp again. This time it's happening over that 1 beat B chord. And we play it a second time, and it's going to be happening over an E chord. Down to the root of the E chord, up to the 5th of the E chord. Back to the F sharp minor chord, starting the melody on beat 2, but this time we're going to start a third higher, which is cool. It gives this second time through a nice little lift. So we're going to start on the 5th. So I have 5, 6, flat 7. Now the chord changes to B major here, and I have this F natural, so it's going to sound as a flat 5. Then it resolves up to the 5, to the 6, down to the 5. And then we land on the C sharp over the E chord, making it sound like a E6 chord. Then we're into our last A section. Starting on that G sharp, everything is the same here. Just like the first time we played it, until this moment here. Now we have this little kind of button melody that wraps up the whole tune. So over that C sharp minor chord, I'm playing that D sharp, coming up to the flat 3 of the chord, doing a little approach note to the root. So I get. Now at that point, everything stops with a nice big hit, and we jump right back to the top of the tune, and we start in on that Twilight Zone melody again for 8 bars, stopping on the 8th bar, and then we go back into this fear, quote unquote, fear melody. Not quite. Close. And we play it all the way through the exact same way. No changes at all. The second time we go through, we're going to add a couple tags to kind of wrap this tune up. So second time through, when we get to this little button melody at the end of the whole tune here, we're going to answer that with an F sharp minor chord, dipping in and out of that. And then I'm going to play that melody again. I tend to play this down here on those tags because it's a little easier to get back and forth. Same notes, just easier for me to get to that F sharp minor, dip in and out, and come back to the position. And then last time, it just resolves onto the C sharp. Cool, I hope you enjoyed this, and check out this record, Ventures in Space. It's a great record, and check out that tune, Fear, from that TV show, One Step Beyond. I think you'll see what I mean. It's a pretty loose adaptation of that melody, but cool nonetheless. If you want to get the tab, notation, and backing track for this, once again, you can do that just by becoming a member of Jason Loughlin Guitar Lessons. And again, that free Cage System resource guide is down there below in the description. Hope you enjoyed this. Check out one of these other videos, and thanks for watching.